Alright, we are back. James Deadlifts here from Sweet Science of Fighting. We are going to break down Michael Chandler's brutal training for UFC 309. I have not gone through this video yet. I've kind of just looked at the previews through. So hopefully there's some decent training through this that we can take a look at. Again, just my opinions. I'm making a lot of assumptions and inferences, so we're going to assume this is in fight camp. So we've got trap bar deadlift, overhead press. Is this in HD? Apparently. Let's see what else we got going on. Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, we've got some broad jumps. So far the training looks good. We had trap bar deadlifts, we had overhead press, with broad jumps, rotational medicine ball throws with max intent, very nice. Well, that was pretty skillful. What else we got going on? Oh, here we go. Maybe we'll get into the actual training here. Trap bar deadlift with the high handles. Perfect. I much prefer trap bar over a regular straight bar deadlift, just for athletes. And then we're going kneeling, standing jump over a bench. It's a little complex. So, typical goal of kind of pairing these together is to try and induce that post-activation performance enhancement phenomenon. Now, we touched on this in the podcast that will be coming out soon with Lee Brown. I've broke down this in a video not too long ago on the myth of the post-activation performance enhancement effect. Now, it's not to say that this is not beneficial. It's just to say that doing something heavy and then doing something light to make the light exercise, I guess, to have better performance during that light exercise, it's like you're just down to a better warm-up. So if you doing this heavy stuff, warms you up really well, and then you go into this. Now, typically you're supposed to have a longer break, but I think just for timing and things like that, and if the fatigue's really low, I don't worry about it too much. Also with the trap bar, high handles, it's nice, reduces the range of motion as well, makes it a little easier if you don't have that range to get it done. And again, straight bar deadlift, I don't think is a good exercise. Not in terms of it's not a good exercise, but for fighters, I think you're better off doing other things. Like if you want to do a hip hinge, do a pure hip hinge. Good morning, Romanian deadlift, etc. If you want to squat, do a squat pattern. That regular deadlift is kind of in between. I mean, a trap bar deadlift is kind of in between too, but I feel that it is easier on the lower back. Bulgarian split squats, kettlebell squats. He's got some decent training. Like, I have no qualms with any of this. A nice little complex again. Kettlebell squats with medicine ball scoop tosses. Love the medicine ball throws that he keeps doing. This is really, really good. Scoop tosses are used in a lot of my programs in the Sweet Science of Fighting Underground as well. What else we got going on? More trap bar deadlifts. So that seems like this is his main lower body movement. And Bulgarian split squats is kind of like secondary. That's how I typically like to program as well. So if you're going to use the deadlift as your main lower body movement, use the single leg squat variation as your secondary leg movement. This is a nice little combo too. So this will be like a hurdle hop, but he's just going over benches because he doesn't have hurdles. So the goal of this exercise is to hit the ground and be on the ground for the least amount of time possible and spring back up. And you train this ability to contract and relax. If you watch my drop jump versus depth jump video previously, the other week, I got into detail about this ability to be able to relax and contract and also have that pre-tension before hitting the ground. It's how you maximize the use of elastic energy and maximize force production. All right. So here's a little medicine ball variation. You guys have probably seen this one on Instagram quite often. So this would be like a progression on from a typical rotational medicine ball throw. So you can go like concentric only rotational throw. You can go then you're going eccentric concentric. So you're loading up that rotation. And then this would be like a pseudo shock method kind of thing where someone's throwing the ball at you. So you have to decelerate. So you have a faster eccentric than you typically would. And then re-accelerate. So you just increase the intensity of the throw. So it's a nice variation to also use. And now he's doing it with the jump step as well. So he's trying to add more momentum behind it. Boom. Solid exercise. More medicine. Man, I love that there's so many medicine ball throws in this training footage. You don't see them enough. You don't see them enough. So this is an interesting one. So he's doing loaded depth drops into a squat. Now, I don't know if he's just doing this for like eccentric rate of force development, which is basically the ability to produce force quickly in that lowering phase or the lengthening phase. I'm not too sure. I mean, yeah, it could be used for something like that. Typically, when you're doing depth drops, you're trying to almost land stiff because you're trying to create that tension when hitting the floor. Outside of that, depending on how you do this, it can be used as like a pseudo eccentric hamstring style exercise for that high hamstring. But since he's going forward, it's getting a lot of stress on the quads instead. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Not one that I would typically program, but there's nothing wrong with doing something like that. What else? We've got more training. Nope, that was it. Yeah, that was a solid training session. So obviously it was just a put together of different footage from his training, and based on that footage, that's some pretty decent training, especially if we compare it to some of the other stuff that I've had to break down recently. Yeah, very, very interesting, and probably one of the better MMA strength conditioning from this clip, better strength conditioning programs that we've seen on the channel, which is kudos to Michael Chandler there. But if there's someone you want me to break down, let me know. Shoot me in the comments, shoot me Instagram, DM on Instagram, whatever, if there's a video you want me to break down, and I'll catch you in the next one.